We buy a car, and it comes with an owner's manual. We buy a smartphone, and it includes a digital tutorial. But we arrive on Earth with the most complex machinery in the known universe, the human mind, and we receive absolutely zero documentation, which explains why the default human condition feels the way it does. You walk around with 47 browser tabs open in your brain, the fan is screaming, and the check engine light has been flashing since 2015. Theologians like Maximus the Confessor actually diagnosed this error code centuries ago. Looking at this text, Maximus defines self-love as the mother of the passions. It is the origin point of human disintegration. Those unexamined passions create a system failure. But humans are not irreparably broken. Most people are simply running an outdated, highly reactive internal software. To rewrite that software, you need the documentation. That is what the Human Maximus Codex is built to be, a modern operating manual designed to debug this inherited condition. It approaches chronic anxiety, fear, and self-sabotage not as permanent character flaws, but as predictable system outputs. Because we lack the manual, we spend our lives following default rules we didn't write. The first step to changing the outcome is acknowledging that we have been operating on autopilot. To rewrite the rules, we have to reverse engineer the human system. We can lay the components out on a blank schematic. First, the body. That is your hardware vehicle. Inside it sits the mind, which acts as the software computer running your reactive programs. Next is the heart, functioning as the emotional engine, while the soul provides the deeper, underlying signal. But the most critical component is awareness. Awareness is the driver. It is the only element capable of standing completely outside the machine's automated loops. You can see the logical structure required to organize these components in this table of contents. The schematic relies on a Trinitarian and Christological matrix as its foundational blueprint, a framework for organizing the human calling. The tragedy of the default human condition is that the driver has fallen asleep at the wheel. Awareness is dormant, leaving the computer software to steer the vehicle based on past trauma and fear. True wakefulness requires a complete separation of the self. Exactly. You have to develop the ability to notice a thought without instantly becoming that thought. Understanding this architecture is the only way to stop being a passenger in your own life. This architecture reveals a specific mechanic. We don't interact with objective reality, but with our internal state. The Codex maps this as a sequential, mechanical formula for reality generation. Your state creates your lens. Your lens dictates your choice. Your choice drives your action, and your action produces the result. Look closely at the relationship between state and lens. If your awareness is trapped in a scared state, the computer automatically applies a lens of danger over everything you see, regardless of what is actually happening in your environment. That lens strictly dictates what choices you believe are available to you. Those limited choices then hard code the resulting actions. This exposes the failure of traditional willpower. People exhaust themselves trying to force new actions, while their root state remains corrupted by fear or anger. Any permanent debugging process has to target the state level. If the code is fixed at the root, the outputs change automatically. This pipeline operates as a law of nature. If you do not control the input state going in, you can never control the life experience coming out. Programming that input state is the focus of the first half of the Codex's 12-stage system, where focus and language are utilized as literal software code. Books 1 and 2 reclaim your core identity from the passions. This establishes a threshold separating a dark, reactive lower zone of fear from a light, conscious upper zone of power. We call this living above the line. Book 3 introduces the law of focus. Attention is the primary fuel for the human machine. Whatever system you feed with your attention inevitably expands. Book 4 maps the frequency library. The music you listen to, the environments you inhabit, and the digital inputs you consume all act as external hardware updates to your state. Book 5 addresses language as code. Your spoken words function as programming instructions delivered straight to your mental computer. That level of sensitivity makes the human system incredibly vulnerable. it does. A single bad input or a few minutes of lazy, negative speech can rewrite your daily code and crash your energy. Your focus and words are the code. Neutrality doesn't exist. You are either intentionally programming yourself for success or accidentally programming yourself for failure. The end goal of this manual extends beyond simply feeling better. It points toward the total restoration and deification of the human person. The final stage of the dial, Book 12, the mission, marks the moment the individual moves completely from darkness into light. The historical proof for this radical transformation is found in the ancient concept of theosis. According to this text, humans fulfill their divine calling in a fifth mediation, a process of penetrating entirely into God and achieving a state of mystical union. That mystical union is the ancient blueprint for the modern Human Maximus, an individual who has successfully integrated their internal microcosm and fully reclaimed their power. The author of the Codex, Shawn Vibert, the Kelowna dancing guy, serves as living proof. His journey from darkness and depression to high-energy service validates the system. Vibert's transition was a mechanical application of these exact rules. When he changed his state, he changed his life. Human transformation is not a mystery, and it requires no miracles. It is the predictable, guaranteed result of realigning the human system with its original design. Ultimately, every person faces a single choice: continue living as a victim of inherited code, or assume the role of the conscious driver of the machine. These are the two modes of human existence. You can stay trapped in a reactive loop, where external events dictate your state, or you can step outside that loop, grab the controls, and intentionally create your reality. The check engine light in your mind is no longer a mystery. It is a signal for the driver to take the wheel. The primary mandate of the Codex is absolute. Stop giving your power away. Stop handing your energy to fear, to past traumas, or to outdated stories. The final formula is mechanical, reliable, and entirely in your hands. Change your state, change your lens, change your life. The logic of the system is accessible the moment we stop reacting. We just needed to turn on the light to see the map. You were created for a maximum existence. The Codex is simply the map that shows you exactly where your power has been hiding.